let's talk about the research, Professor. I know last month you guys said that you needed more time to assess the samples that you collected. We already know about the piles and piles of coral, which we could see through the video. We're interested in what did your findings, based on the samples you collected, really told you.
Well, the samples actually is just an additional information, but it's really just for us to identify the species that are in there. But it's not too important, I think, in terms of the entire story. What we saw from underwater in the videos we took, the fact that the pile of rubble was very high compared to anything that can be formed by natural force, like a wave, a storm, or anything. And the fact that these rubbles are so white compared to any other rubble underwater that's natural from underwater, suggests that already that this is not from underwater, so it cannot be formed by any natural force gathering rubble from underwater and then piling them up. So it's kind of from somewhere else, right? And then
same yung nasa taas tsaka yung nasa baba.
it's different. Yeah, it's very different.
Species. So their tests confirmed your initial theory.
I think it's difficult to at the species level, but what we found is that many of these fragments or coral rubble. So when the coral die, they leave this skeleton, right? So it's like broken pieces of stone that Filipinos often called bato stone, but actually these are animals, so it's just the skeleton. And when we look at the species, what we found is that most of the species that are underwater are either the shape of our head or a fist, something like that. It's kind of massive coral, submassive. But many of the coral rubble in the pile are branching forms. Okay. So even that, they already are very distinct, right? And then on some sides, the coral underwater that's still alive are shaped like a folius or a rose, but the ones on the rubble are all branching. So there's really a strong distinction between the corals in the rubble and then what's underwater. So that's the main thing. And then the other thing is that, I don't know, you went on the island itself? No, you were on the boat most of the time.
I was in the Sandy Cay 2.
Yeah, so you were there, and you saw the one, if you walk on the middle of the Sandy Cay 2, there are piles of big rubble in the middle, but none of them are on the edges of the...
I didn't see that.
Yeah,
I didn't see the difference.
Yeah, so it's, for me, that's also a telling sign. It's difficult for those bigger rubble to cross from the edges, get into the middle.
Because of the weight.
Yeah.
And they're on top.
Yeah, and then suddenly they're in the middle, so it's like, how can they get there? Like,
Wait, what's the significance, Prof, of the whiter coral? It means they've been sitting out in the sun for longer? What does that mean?
When the corals are too white, that means that probably they have been dead and they're out of water for some time, so they're so white, there's no algae on them. And most of the white corals are either from the bottom of the ocean, or they haven't seen an algae for a while. And I think that because these rubble are so white that no algae is covering them, that it might be recently dumped. So maybe if there's an ongoing piling of corals, maybe this is a continuous event. That's why what we see are very white. Otherwise, they will be, if they've been there for some time, they will also be covered in algae.